finishing up the hem around the back and the front of the tent. I'm going to put grommets in at all the main seams for the ropes that hold to the stakes, and then the tent's complete. So this is a big day. First thing I want to do, I have marked on here the angle at which I want to fold this. This is the back of the tent near me. That's not exactly where I meant. I need you just up here somewhere. I think I'm going to drag this that way and up. What I want is just to keep all of this even so I get that angle exactly right. If you do this right, it sets up, it takes down easily, and it works well. And, that's what we were after. So just fold this part and I'll drag it over out of the way. This I'm doing also, but I want to do the bell first. Okay. Let me smooth this out a bit. And it's important when you're doing this part to make sure that all the seams are aligned and your tension, and that you don't have a little cat laying down in the middle of the tent. Yes, come here. Come here. Yeah, I need you off of here so I can work on this, okay? Just for a little while. So anyway, it's important to get this smooth and even so you are folding it properly. It just makes it easier to get all the angles correct. So there, it's parallel with the top. All right, got an idea. Why don't you come over here for a little while? Where's your ball? You have a ball around here? What are you doing here? Here's your ball. Why don't you play in here for a while? Yeah, okay. Pressure, and then we can iron. I have my iron heating now, so plenty of water in it. It's going to use a lot of steam, and we're just going to make this angle. All right, let me think this through. Where's my yardstick and my chalk? Straight edge, chalk, and here is my mark, right there. So what I want to do, I have a previous chalk mark on there. I don't want to use that. I want to use this new one. I've just adjusted it. I'm going to go from the bottom hem of the body, or the bottom of the hem of the body, to the seam, and then just a straight line from there to this mark I've made. I'm going to mark that down, and then iron it, fold it under and iron it. And that will be, and I'm going to fold, that'll be the bottom of the new hem on this. So, it's pretty straightforward. Can the camera see this? No. Let me try to adjust this. Sorry about that. Let's see. I think that's a little better, right? Yeah, perfect. Yeah? Okay, great. So what we're doing, is we're going to go from here from there to here. Hold back just a little bit just to accommodate the width of the chalk, but really what I want to do is go right from the end of that seam at the bottom hem to this mark here. And the way this folds will, or where this comes out, then there's another reason you want this stretched taut. Not tight, just taut. We're then going to run this. It's just going to, well, I'll show you. Easier to show than to describe what we're doing, how to get these angles. Anyway, I know where I want this point and I know where I want this point, so just connect them with a line, and we will fold along that line. Okay. That's all there is to it. All right, we got a nice clean one, good. So, plenty of excess here, way too much actually. Now we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. I'm going to drop an inch and a half from that line. So I'm going to get my the template I used yesterday. Nope, not yet. Not here. Once I'm sewing. No, once I'm sewing. All right. Just make sure I'm not pulling this out. Okay. So again, I want an inch and a half hem, so I've got my baseline, and I'm going to go then just an inch and a half down from that mark. And this stick is an inch and a half wide, so that's why I'm using it. So I'm going to place this on that line. Chalk another line. This is the fold line for the top of the hem. That'll be up here. And it'll, can you see that? Yeah. And there'll be stitching here. This is going to connect here. It's going to come up like that, across. So that's the line I'm doing right now. Chalk it pretty heavily. I like to chalk it pretty heavily because it's difficult to see sometimes. And at this stage, it's nearly complete and all this chalk comes off. So it's useful to have clear marks. So there we go. Just draw across here. And there we are. Okay. Gotta take care. I have an extra marking here I do not want to use. So I'm going to exit just so I don't mistakenly use that. So there's my mark. And now I'm going to go one more time down an inch and a half, and that's my cut line. I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch or so inside of that line. And that little shortness of it, it's going to be, this piece will be tucked in underneath this. I want it a little shorter than that so that there's room for this fold. It'll accommodate that into the pocket rather than bunching up. It's all pretty straightforward from here. The hard part is done. This is purely mechanical. Once we get past this stage, okay. Pretty sure that's right. Right? So fold along there. Now this, is that a straight line or does that change? This, okay, so there's a seam here. There's going to be a pair of grommets here, and a rope, and a stake. I want this to go straight from this side of the tent to the other side of the tent. So I am going, I think I can just sew it straight across, right? I want to be sure of that though, before I cut it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and, well, let me see. I'm going to take my time on this. I'm almost done, and haste makes waste, so I don't mind spending a little bit extra time looking at this carefully and doing it very deliberately. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this part anyway, mainly because I'm not quite sure if that angle just extends. I think this should just extend this line straight across. I just want to be sure of that. I'm not at the moment. So I'm just cutting inside. Here's my main fold. Here's the hem top, and here's the tucking in underline. So I'm just going to cut in just about 1/4 of an inch inside that line, and all the way across to that seam over there. I think I can actually just keep going all the way with these lines and cuts, but at the moment I'm a little confused about it. until I'm certain I don't want to do that. Let's go up here. This just gives me a little bit more flexibility. I don't have to account for that piece. All right, so what I want to do with my iron, I'm going to put down a towel just to protect the linen from the floor and vice versa. There we go. All right, there. Keep your seams lined up as you do this, just so that everything is symmetrical. Even tension and all that stuff, you know, 'cause every little bit helps. Okay, so that seam, I can feel it underneath this seam. Move it over. We'll work out the slack. Get these lined up. And here we go. So I'm just going to start right here. And I want to be able to see that chalk line, so I'm kind of folding right on it. And we're going to go right into the edge, the very end of this heavy seam here. Strong seam, heavy seam, however you want to put it. Keep that folding to the, and I can take these out. These are my markers. They're no longer needed for this part. Okay. So just fold along that line and then we'll press it down in a minute with the steam. Do a neat job on this, and then it looks really cool. Get on this a little bit more. I think what's going to happen here is I think this line just extends straight out. We just want to. We're going to go straight from this seam to this seam. So I'm just going to do this one first, just so I'm certain. Because for some reason, I've got it in my head that that's not quite right, but I don't know why. But there's no rush to do it that way. So just make sure that this looks nice and straight. If you have any divots or bumps in it, you can work them out right now. Here we go. It's iron. Steam. Go, steam it up. So just pressing that. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. I feel like this should come up just a little more. Maybe got a little too much of that below. So I'm going to adjust this now. Now's the time to do it. You know? And this may not make for thrilling viewing, but it makes for a nice looking tent. So it's worth taking the effort to do it this way. Oh, and I finally answered the question I've been asking myself for the past several streams. When did I make that other linen tent that I've been referring to? 12 years ago this April. And we've gotten a lot of use out of it. I was here talking to my wife and we were looking over some of the photographs that we've taken with it. And we've been all over the place with it and had a lot of fun. It's served us very well. So, all right, so now I've got the bottom seam. This is going to be the bottom of the tent. I'm just going to roll this back and I'm going to snip this here so I can fold that right there. Not all the way down, just enough that I can fold this top part down. And remove my marker. So, put this out of the way. Make sure you preserve that steamed seam that I just did. Smooth this. Then we're going to tuck this down underneath and press it again. I have a little bit of excess here. I'm going to trim this, especially this heavy seam that does not need to be in that corner. In fact, I'm going to start with that. Let's just do that right now. So take that away. Now we've got what's going to happen here. There's going to be a grommet here and a grommet here. So what I don't want is this seam right in the way of that grommet. So I think what I'm going to do is work it so that it goes parallel. Well, actually, just overlays. I mean, technically, it's parallel in a different dimension, z-axis, I guess. So it overlays this seam. So now, when you see all the forces applied to this tent are directed down along that seam in that direction. So it makes it a little bit stronger when you lock that on. But also then it leaves room for your grommets to go here and here, flanking that seam, because there will be ropes here. So just fold that over. This is going to get folded under here. So what I want to do is trim away just a little bit of this, just into that corner. So it's out of the way, really, and then I can cut it off. Now this, okay, so let me just do it this way. A little tighter cut. You just don't want a bunch of fabric bundled up in there, you know. It doesn't need to be there, and makes for a neater seam. Anyway, so now easy part. I'm just going to do the same thing. Roll this under, tuck it in, and then iron it. And then this is going to be the top of the hem. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one from here out. If you remember when I did the body hem, I held back 3 or 4 inches, and that gives me the flexibility then to work with this and get the corners to look nice. So I recommend doing that. You could do a long stretch of it, but you know, if you have something that you're coming back to, leave yourself the flexibility to make adjustments without having to work around. I held back stuff that's already finished and sewed down. So anyway, roll this just like that. Check that it's nice and straight and looks good. And it does. So lay this down here. This is the body seam. So there is the finished corner. So I'm going to press this, and then this is ready to hem. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to match that side to it. And I'm going to do this last bit just because I'm still, for whatever reason, a little confused about it. There's that. It's pretty well locked down. Put our main seam good and hard. And that's that. So I can put this aside for now. Get my needle, twine, and wax, and I'm going to stitch this up. Twine, needle, beeswax, ready to go. We're going to stitch up this hem right quick, and this should just cruise right along. I need a little wax on this. Let's get the fresh twine. Generally, I go just beyond arm's length, and then so it draws nicely. And that has a bump in it, which I don't want later. All right, so beeswax, twine. I was pretty good at this by the end of the project. Get a lot of practice on these things. They're lots of stitches to do, so you end up sewing a lot. And by the time you're done, you get pretty efficient. You don't want too much wax on your twine. It tends to grab the other end of the twine. It'll twist up and bunch and knot itself. So just a couple of quick passes. Okay, sweetheart, you can't sit there. Oh, I know, it's the most fascinating thing, isn't it? How about this? What can I do to amuse you? How about this? Would you like a ball? Would you like to play with? Hey, Scout, here's your ball. There's your ball. Look. Go get your ball. Oh, I know, twine is so fascinating, but I need this. But I need this. I must work on it. Where's your ball? Go get your ball. All right, so anyway, I'm going to thread the needle here. And I've said it a couple of times, I'll mention it again in case you missed them in the other stream. I like a blunt needle for stitching these, this heavy linen because, well, for a variety of reasons. One, it's a little thicker gauge, so it's easier to hold over a long period of time. I get fewer sticks in my fingers from sewing. It's got a bigger eye, so you can, I'm just going to hold back an 1.5 inches or 2 inches here just from this edge, just so when I go to do this, I have a little bit of flexibility to work, and maybe I'll go a couple more. So I have a little flexibility with this, so I can work this in, and then I'll complete it, just like I did on the other end there in the previous string. So anyway, so we dig in here, get our first stitch, and there we are. All right. So now we're just going to go down the line here. Same kind of felling stitch as we did before. I think it's a, I sure hope this is actually a felling stitch because that's what I've been calling it for the whole time I've been doing this. I'm just whipping around here, you know, go in, grab a few threads. Please don't pull on that, honey. Pull a few threads, or yeah, just go by a few threads and then pull it through. And then you skip a bit of space and go on to the next. You want to snug it down, don't make it tight or leave it loose. It's got to sit snugly there, but you don't want to buckle the fabric underneath it. You're just connecting pieces of fabric. Now, sweetheart, listen, you can't do that. We've got to do something else about you. What are we going to do? You want a piece of string? Here. Here, sweetheart. Here. Look. There you go. Good girl. Have fun. What it is with kittens and string, I've seen it in old paintings and drawings, and it's my experience that they cannot resist a good piece of twine or yarn or anything like that. It's got to be some kind of, bless you, it's got to be some kind of evolutionary adaptation. We, one of our cats, all of our cats have come to us by showing up here in need of some kind. And one of them, not long after she got here, she was living out in the woods for a long time, I suspect. She, at some point, maybe had been a house cat, and somehow, I don't know if she was abandoned or what. But anyway, we got her back to health, and not long after that, there was a big black snake in the one of the rooms downstairs. And she had no fear about going up and introducing herself and playing with it. She didn't try to kill it or anything, but she sure wanted to play. It's a harmless snake. I mean, it eats mice and stuff. But so we got it out of here, but she didn't mind hanging out with it for a while, playing. Listen, sweetie, you are adorable, but you're in my way. You're really cute and ferocious. I know, you're ferocious. And you slept all day, so this is not going to work. I need you to let me sew. So why don't you get your ball? Where's your ball? Here, come here. Good girl. Thank you. All right, so let me drag this here just to smooth these out. So now we have our first few inches of stitching in. Looks good, the hem is holding. We're just gonna carry on down to here. And then that part is done, we're gonna mirror what we just did on that side, and then we're gonna connect the two, and then the entire back and sides of the tent are complete. Well, I mean, apart from the grommets, but we'll get to that. Much easier to get this stuff through when you got a rhythm going. This is 3 layers of material, and it's heavy linen, so somehow when you're just cruising along, it seems to find the space between the threads and push right through, and if you're not, it takes a little more effort. Leads to more needle sticks and all kinds of pain from trying to push the needle through rather than just let it glide in. So I like to get a good rhythm going and just roll with it. Something really satisfying about doing this. I mean, maybe it's as simple as I'm getting to the end of the project and all that, but I just like the neatness of it, you know, that this crisp edge that you're sewing along, the stitches look good, and when you're done with it, you have a finished thing. You've taken this 2-dimensional fabric, turned it into a 3-dimensional object that's useful, and got a lot going for it. Who that was. Oh, someone else. Hey, not there, please. Thank you. Find a new toy. All right, back to it. More now. See that interruption? There we go. Check. Just like I said when I was doing the long ones, check to be sure that you don't have a lot of slack in this. As you work it, you'll sometimes inadvertently, push and pull and stretch it and stuff. You want to keep it so that you're making a flat object. And so if you get a little bit of slack, you can push it back toward where you're working, and then you can, over the course of several stitches, work out that slack without it being, a bunch of it all at once to fix down the line, which is less desirable. Okay, thought I had a loose stitch there, but just a bit of fuzz on. Stitches look nice, even, consistent, pretty, old-fashioned, everything I like. Don't think about it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Scout. Don't do it. Resist the temptation. Resist the temptation. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you have to resist the temptation to grab my line. Oh, you're not. Let's undo that before we pull it any tighter. Please don't, sweetheart. Come on. Quit it. Thank you. You pull these tight before you unknot them, and you get an insoluble knot, which is no fun. It's not a huge deal to fix it, but sometimes you have to put. The other day I did one, and I had to cut it and start it over. It's just unnecessary irritation. So, ta-da! Okay, now on this. Dude, you gotta stop. Find your ball. On this, to hold this down, since I folded it like this is that folded exterior part of the seam that's coming up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a few stitches down the side of it through the hem, not all the way to the front, but just through the hem, and then holding this piece down. So I'm just going to dig in, if I can. And then run, up through the that folded over piece, and that will just tighten it up a little bit. We'll secure it on there. Just grab a few stitches and then push through, taking care not to stretch it out of shape or anything. No, off the keyboard, darling. Rouse. She's not figured out the birds on screen aren't real, or that when, in this case, I've got it, this is the monitor for the stream. She's not figured out that that little cat that she sees is not her. She loves pouncing at it. Where'd your ball go? Where's your ball? Where did it go? Here's your ball. Did almost done locking this part down. And then I'm going to just run the thread over to the other side and do the same back up. And then just a couple of quick whips across here to secure it. That just keeps it from falling apart. There we go. So now we'll just run. I'm putting this needle through. It's on the inside. It's never going to. Actually, I don't need to do that. That's already stitched in. So I'm just going to run this thread. I'll secure it. Let me put another stitch in this. But then I'm just going to run this back up to the top and go across the top, and that'll be that for this part. We're almost done with this seam. I just have about 4 inches left to do, and then I'll reconnect it to the other end that we did in the previous stream. So here we go. There's the needle. Push that through. So that's just buried inside the material. And over here, same kind of thing. I'm just whipping across the top. A few stitches just to hold it in place. Now, last bit here. Recall that the only thing she likes more than a piece of tailor's twine is an aluminum foil ball. There's almost nothing more fun than that. Alright, so come to this previous, you know what I want to do? You just tuck this under. I want to put that previous tail underneath there. Snip that, tuck this inside the hem, and just run one more stitch or two across the top here. Now secure it. Not sure what that means, but I've heard it, and that is signifies there. One more, and we're good. Voila. All right, man, check that out. So, the bell is begun. So what we're going to do next, I'm not going to do the grommets yet because I want this to be as flat as possible and add just a little bit of ropes. I mean, grommets don't, but adding the grommets and ropes at this stage I think is a little premature. So I'm going to now just match on the other side what I did here. And to do that, I want to get this stuff out of my way. Anybody in here? Nay, of course not. Alright. To that end, let's see. I want to make sure my seams line up. Make sure my material's not bunched up, misaligned, or anything like that. You just want to, making a mirror, polish it, right? Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Even your substrate there. Okay. to do actually is lift, okay, now it's smooth, so now I'm gonna lift this back up, I'm gonna fold that approximately where this is, and then detail until we get a match. Let's see here, let's go ahead and do this. Get it roughly in place, and we'll move this down. Bless you. Gradually working it around, and folding it until we get it matched. That's good up to about here, and then it extends out a little too far, so I'm going to just roll that back just a little bit. Smooth it. Start pressing it just by hand, and then up. Not on the keyboard, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. That's better. One more, I think we should do it. We'll get it much closer. Yeah, that's really good there. This is good. It's still, now this part is still just a little too far down. You want to periodically check. Just make sure you're on top of your seams. Not at all. You're mirroring it, really. Make sure I'm not dragged over because this feels like it's a little too far that direction. Hey. Matches. This, and this. All right, I think we're there. Let's see here, just to be sure. Just keep it loose and make sure it lines up. All right, we do this right and it just works great. Okay. Yep. All right, let's iron that. So, turn on the iron and we're gonna heat it up. We're gonna press that. Do the same thing we did on the other one, and then they're both done. And then what we'll do is we'll just extend this line from this seam to that one straight across. We're going to open this up and do it that way, just to be sure that it doesn't, if you cut it while it's folded like this, I have in the past done that, and it tends to be a little off, so. And I don't want it that way. So, okay. There's this. You can have this. I need my yardstick, my template, chalk. I've already got my iron heated up. We're going to press this, and then we're going to mark and fold this part for the belt. So let's do that right now. To do this, I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to fold this back out of the way, and I'll sort that out later. But I want to get this part marked, or, set as the handle. So here's your bottom edge. So that's feet. Now, let's drop this on here and just double check. Yep. All right. I mean, we're within an 1/8 inch. So. And you know what? Actually, while it's hot, I can actually roll it pretty easily, and it'll hold. So I want to push this back just an 1/8 of an inch, or maybe 3/16 at the corner here. Just from here over. I just like it to fit a little bit better. It's sticking out a little over there, so I'm just gonna. Doesn't hurt to be at this stage. And of course, I mean, if you've watched these streams, and, a number of you have, then you will have seen that I like to be careful as I work. I mean, some stuff requires a little carelessness, and some stuff requires care. And these, I like them to be nice. Chances are most people are going to have one tent, and want it to be something that they can really enjoy and have a nice thing. There we go. All right, that's good. That's done. So now I'm going to take my template. We're going to just mark from here to here. We're going to match. Again, we're going to do the same thing with this this corner that I did there. This is going to align with the main seam, which goes this direction actually. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And let's mark it while we have this in place. You'll notice I haven't been moving this around too much, this piece of fabric. As it's folded, leave it there if you can. I have my where's my chalk? Where's it? So I'm just going to lay this across here. I know that's where it goes. Got an 1.5 inch mark there. So now we're just going to chalk strongly across here. Visible mark, because we're going to fold that. That'll be the top of the hem. I'm going to fold, run this line here all the way across. And then we're going to make that corner nice. Okay, and that's that. Now, we're making our cut line here. Again, same width, but we're going to hold it to the inside when we cut it. So there's that. And there's that, all right? All the way down. So we got it. That's it. All there is to it. So now I'm going to trim, again, I'm going to trim just down this fabric. I don't want to mess with this too much right now, just because I'm not sure exactly how much of that I'm going to use. So I'll leave it alone. Just out of the way. Let's trim. Right? Yeah, okay. That is right, right? There's the outside of the tent. There's the inside. These are my marks. This tucks under. Cool. All right. Make sure I'm not cutting the front. Okay. Get this out. So I'm squish it. Feel so I don't pull the other fabric up and burn it. Okay, there we are. So now we want to, it's the best way to do this. Maybe I should work from that side. So sorry for the bad camera angle, but I'd rather get this tent done than fool around with moving the camera around. So I'm just going to fold this. You saw me do the other one. So I'm just going to fold this, tuck this line in, and iron it. And we'll straighten out that corner over here, just like we did on this one. trim off some of the excess. So that goes straight.